Alright, so it's been a while since I've made a video about the fish shed, fish shack, what were we calling it? I don't even remember. And I've had all kinds of excuses. Recently, it's been in a horrible mess. I've been working 15 to 18 hours a day, 6 days a week. Been craziness. And I haven't been really making videos or updates or anything like that because working so much and life and all that, it's gotten to a state of neglect. It's not clean. It's all these excuses I've been making for it. But I decided no more excuses. This is life. This is how it is. And some of you all may be in the same situation, that stuff gets away from you and you don't get the time to take care of it the way that you would have otherwise. And so I'm making some changes in here, but I want to give you all an update of where things are right now at this moment. And just be prepared. It's going to be ugly. There's going to be algae. There's going to be clutter. There's going to be, I don't know what, but it's going to be, there's going to be floating experiments back here that didn't work out right. But let's just look at it, and fair warning, it's not going to be pretty. Alright, so let's see if I can turn you around here. I'll give you a look around what it looks like right now from this angle, and then we'll go into what the tanks look like. Yeah, I started to paint this. Well, we see how far I got, and then put stickers on it and all that. We'll start the first tank that you see when you come in. I've got ribbons up here from Bowl Show awards that I've done. In this tank right now, this is where the Otapa swordtails were back when. I moved the Otapas out to a new home, and I've got Odessa barbs in there. I'm looking to take those outside this summer, probably here in a few weeks. But I've also got a couple dojo loaches, and unfortunately they both appear to be male. And you can see a little baby bristlenose right there. I had my existing bristlenose colony that I had wiped out. The male got trapped under that sponge filter somehow, and then the female jumped out, and I had given away or sold a lot of the other ones, so I was down to like one juvenile. But if you saw my video, I think it's my last video I did about rescuing some fish, I got quite a few bristlenose in that, and they have bred since then. So my colony's coming back, and I've got some Burmese loaches in there in the mix somewhere. And then we'll come around to this tank here, since it's beside me. This is my CPD tank. The light is off on it right now because, well, you see why. I had blue jelly shrimp in there, and there's one there, but I think that they have, due to neglect, went to red Rillies quite a bit. The tank on the bottom is just an empty 10-gallon tank. It's got some plastic plants in it, filter going. I have it set up for rescues and different stuff like that. But the plan with the CPDs was to breed them, or to use them as a breeding project. But I've got too many projects going on. So I plan on hanging onto those, but changing things around. Down here, I've been meaning to get rid of this tank a few times, and it keeps finding its way back in here. I don't know if we'll be able to see anything in here. I don't like it being on the floor, but I don't like the bow front tank anyways. but everything's hiding right now. It's got a couple Amica Splendens, and then it's got some Zebra Obliquens, if I can speak, in there. Likely they'll probably make it to a swap or something and to get moved out, just to get this tank out of the floor. This 55 here, you can see it's covered in green algae, but I've got a couple of Denison barbs, some of those Harlequin rasboras, some muck guppies, and then peeking out of the cave there, I've got some Pelvichromis pulcher, the common cribs. I've got some of those in there. And then it's planted with various things. So these tanks over here, so the idea was this shelf would hold all my dry goods supplies, my stuff, my food, filter parts, all that, but it's overflowed. We've got the food bucket falling in this tank here, and this tank is the convict tank. These guys will be going to the swap the next couple weeks. I've got a couple coming up, and seeing if they can hopefully find them a new home. And there's a couple Genetoca doadrii in there, so they'll probably be making the trip also. That tank down there, it's empty. It's a 37 gallon, you know, ready for whatever. This one up here is a 29, just turned sideways. I don't like it where it is. It was a temporary spot that became more permanent, and I can't see the tank except from the end here, and I don't like 29s on the end. Alright, this bottom tank down here is a 29. It just has this one angel here that I did a rescue on a while back. And this tank up here, the 55, it's half full because the other day my center brace popped on it. So the plan was to tear it down. When this guy comes out of quarantine, move him somewhere else, in another tank or to another home. The convicts will be gone, and get rid of this whole section and take this unit, turn it around there. And I may still do that, but when I lowered the water on these things, these Bishardi, if you can see, decided it was time to spawn. So now I've got Bishardi fry. That sounds like a weird name, Bishardi fry. Anyways, coming to this messy aisleway here. We'll come to the center first. This tank here is a 20 high. It's got an underbarrel filter running. I've got this sponge filter here, just getting seated. The one back there in the back is being seated also. It's been seated for a while. I've decided I'm not a fan of the suction cup sponge filters. So, hey, this sponge filter is growing plants out of it. It's probably seated. But this tank has rice fish in it. They'll be going outside very, very soon. I don't know if it's getting too hot in here for them or what, but they're not doing as well as they did outside. Also, I had blue jelly in here, blue jelly shrimp. You see one on the filter there. Again, due to neglect and not culling them, I've got a lot of red rillies. Alright, beside the rice fish tank, I have Kalmani swordtails, which you can see over here on the side coming at us. Kalmani swordtails. They are Hares fish that I've been looking to get back. And somebody in here has bred, but I'm not sure if it's the Kalmanis or if it's the mollies right there. I've got Liberty mollies in there also. But I saw a little fry in here the other day, and I don't know which ones it is because it was too small to tell. And you may be able to tell back here in the back. Of course, it won't focus. But that blurry spot that I'm trying to focus on right there, that is one of my L199 yellow zebra plecos. You can see one, well, I can see one, I don't know if you can see one in that cave right there. Of course, it doesn't want to focus due to the dirty glass, I'm sure. But I've got the Liberty mollies, the Kalmani swordtails, and the L199s in that tank. Then we'll come down here to the bottom. This 20 high, somewhere in there. There we go. We have some tequila goodeids, or tequila split fins, or Zookineticus tequilas. I think I have decided these, we'll be finding them a new home and going to the swaps the next couple weeks. I think I'm going to take a break from the tequilas and use this space for something else. This tank is so full of algae that can't see anything in it. But when I feed them, Haplochromis harrieri, something like that. It's a Victorian cichlid. There's a handful of those in there for now. We'll figure out what we're doing with those later. There's my Oscar that I've named Pearl. And down there I've got some Dumbo-eared dragon guppies. Alright, so let's turn around to this other side. All these tanks down through here I've emptied out. Some still have a little water with some guppy grass in it and some duckweed, just to take to the swaps upcoming. Duckweed's been a hot seller recently. This tank here, the only one on the bottom that actually has fish in it that I know of. Long story there. But this one has some. Let's see if we can get down and see any. Of course, not when the camera comes out, they all hide. There's some Neolamprologus multifasciatus, the multi-shell dwellers. I've got some pulled out to take to the swap this weekend. And this tank up here, another 10-gallon, is empty, with the exception of snails, of course, and some plants. It's ready for something to come over here, so to decide what's coming over here. Probably be some endlers. This tank here, we've got the Dragon Dumbo guppies, and you can see some of the orange sun-kissed Neocaridina's back there. This tank, we have these fry in here. These are the Amatelania septifasciatus. Did I say that right? Septifasciata, something like that. The 7-line cichlid, and they will be going to the meeting. I should have 6 or 7 or 8 in there. They'll be going to the meeting this month for BAP points. Yeah, I see at least 6 of them. And that'll free this tank up to get other things in it. This tank here is my nightmare. We've got every kind of algae you can think of in this one. Blackbeard, green spot, cyanobacteria. If it's a type of algae, it's in this tank. And apparently a fish that I don't know what is. There's this little fish here going to town in there, and I don't know what that is. Interesting. Anyways, this is where I'm breeding assassin snails. There's also supposed to be blue dream shrimp in there. Oh, there's one back there. And there was some half black pastel blue guppies in there, but the algae may have got the best of them. I don't see any. Like I said, this is the worst my fish room has probably been in forever. This tank over here, I've got American blue guppies, red cherry shrimp, Malaysian trumpet snails, and of course hornwort. This tank here, I've got this dwarf grommy. And then these two swordtails here, wild story about those. There's Zophophorus alvarezi. And I picked up their parents at the ALA convention last year. And lost both parents not long after I got them home. And really this tank crashed. I lost everything in it. But I did see a couple little fry swimming around, and as luck has it, it's a male and a female of the alvarezi swordtails, and it looks like they're interested in breeding, so that's good news. More Malaysian trumpet snails over here, more red cherry shrimp, and we've got some double sword guppies. I believe I've only got, I was going to say I only got one female, but there's two females there and two males, so at least two pairs. That's good news. Top tank up here, Neolamprologus multifasciatus. As you can see, I'm moving away from the shells, going to the PVC, just for ease of getting the fry out of there. And that's what this tank up here is pulling shells out and watching intensely for fish. Next tank down, the one in the middle, I've got some Chapthalictes Prodalis. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Those goodyids there. There's a few of the Synodotus petricola back in there. And all of those will be going to the swap this upcoming weekend. And next, if I still have them, down in the bottom tank, very horrible view, but I've got buckets in front of it. Neolamprologus similis. Haven't decided on those if I want to keep them, because I can't get to them to even see them. In this tank here, I've got the Amatelonia, Nanaludia, and you can see they've got fry again there, so that's a pair there. Up here, I've pulled some of their fry out. I think I've got 2 or 3 in this one, and about 6 in that one. Different ages, because I've got this pair here, and then back over here I've got a pair, and I don't know if you can make it out through the algae, but they've got fry too. So they like to snipe each other's fry. About that, a little spin around here. This tank here, Xenotoca, Izani, Compostella, and then you got the one swordtail in there. She looks pregnant, but she's not. These guys, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them or not. I might move them on out. But I definitely want to do something different with the tank, scape it or something. Beside it here, this other 20 high Limia Perugiae. They have caught my interest again and are pretty neat to me. So they're just going to stay. I'm going to do something different with the tank. Coming down to the bottom. This 20 high here, you get greeted by trout godeids. I'm on the fence with these guys. I'm really male heavy. I think I've got maybe 2 females in the whole batch, and they breed very slow, and they don't pick up my interest that much. So they may be moving out. I'm not sure. Next door here, we've got another angel that I rescued in quarantine, and in the little cave back there, you can see a tail, maybe, and that's a little Bolivian ram. These guys came in a rescue, so they're quarantining out. And we'll go back up to the top section here. These are the knife live bears. A little bit rarer of a live bear. I was interested in them when I got them. Not so much anymore. So they'll be going to a swap. Down here on the bottom here, I've got some killifish eggs that have all fungused, so they need to be taken care of. In here, hiding somewhere, are my blue-tailed godeids. Well, so it's supposed to be in there. And you can kind of see, while I'm looking at thinning things out, there's one. I don't get to get in here and enjoy the fish as much as I would like, and getting neglected and stuff, it's not right for the fish either. So I need to focus my projects in on what I'm wanting to do top, number one, and finish a project before I start something else. So you can't tell in here, but this little container here has some fun little Panchax Gardneri fry in it. I guess they're too small to be seen through the camera, but they're in here just growing up some. The rest of the tank's empty, this tank's empty. And then over here, Xenotoca doadrii. I'm probably going to get rid of the doadrii altogether for now. Let's go down to the bottom first. We've got in here, we've got some fry from the Blue Ollie. And this tank down here is my Malawi cichlid tank. Yes, you heard me right, Malawi cichlids. So I currently have Victorian cichlids, Malawi cichlids, and Tanganyikan cichlids. So all 3 rift flakes in my fish room at one time. Plus the cribs are West African, so I've got West African and rift flakes and Central American and South American. There we can see, hiding on the bottom there, at least the female of the Australel orange, Aphysemian Australel. That's a killifish. Aphysemian Australel orange, something like that. Female, the male was in there a minute ago, so hopefully he hasn't jumped out. Next door there, let's see if we can find them. This is the Tiger Teddy tank. There's the male. Australian orange. The Tiger Teddy tank, a real tiny live bearer. There we go. It rivals the least killifish as potentially being the smallest live bearer. I have 2 females left. So they'll be hopefully finding a new home at the swap. Yes, the filter's upside down. I need to take that filter out, but it's neglect. It does have an operating sponge filter in the back. And this is my Fundulopanchax Gardneri tank. It's got the mop in it. I haven't been pulling the mop recently because the female died. The male's still in there somewhere. And I've got some fry swimming around in there. So hopefully I get a male and female in the fry to continue these killifish. Who would have thought I would have had 2 species of killifish at one time in my fish room. And my last tank here is Blue Diamond Shrimp and Santa Maria Endlers. And I was about done with the Santa Maria Endlers because I didn't think I had any males, and one of the young fry has matured into a male right there. Okay, so I started rambling about moving fish from this place to that place and whatnot. But long story short, it's a mess in here. I've got half-finished projects all over the place. I've got tanks that have been neglected. I've got breeding projects that only have a male or a female. I've got unidentified fish. And tanks that aren't set up that should be set up, and tanks that are set up that shouldn't be set up. I'm going to clear out a lot of the stuff, find homes for a lot of the fish, and focus in on finishing some of the projects that I started, like the auto water change, because it makes it difficult doing the water changes manually on all these tanks with such little time, when the auto water change can do it for me and give me time to do other maintenance things that I need to be doing or working on my projects. So I won't go into what all the changes I'm looking at are, but I'm looking at making some changes, looking at cleaning some stuff up, like all these wires. I don't need wires just hanging everywhere. But stay tuned. Come back next time, and hopefully next time it'll be a little cleaner in here and look a little better. Alright, we'll see you later.